excited to, I heard there's somebody recently said that they were taking their talents to South Beach. You guys have taken your talents and put it to public service. You all are connecting to something larger than yourselves. You all are looking at the challenges of our time, an enormously complex set of very serious challenges. Instead of sitting on the sidelines complaining about it, well, maybe complaining a little bit about it, you're also rolling up your sleeves and getting to work and trying to make a difference. And so really your presence here, it energizes us, and that is really why we're so excited. The other reason why we're really pleased for you to be here is, my job here is I'm the deputy in the Office of Public Engagement and Intergovernmental Affairs. Intergovernmental Affairs is the side of the office that works with state and local officials, governors, mayors, attorneys general, state reps, state legislators. The Public Engagement Office is the side of the office that does this, that gets to work with citizens, that gets to work with everyday Americans and bring their thoughts, their ideas, their opinions into our decision-making process and make sure that we're connecting with people outside of Washington, D.C. so that we can communicate. I don't know if you have taken the same lesson that I've taken over the last couple of years, but we can't really rely on the media to tell our story accurately. They want to spend that 60 seconds. Took us a little while to figure it out.
I dye my hair blonde.
But I think what we need, so I think the way to do it is really to take leaders in our community, people who are turned to all the time. I know everybody probably figures you all talk to the president, every single day, the way they ask you about, what's he doing about this and why is he doing that and what's the White House going to do about this problem? And so we thought it would be great if we could, every once in a while, bring folks in who are the real leaders in the community, the real opinion makers, the people who have more influence over what people do and what people say than we do behind these black gates, and have a conversation with them about what's happening. And so you're going to hear it over and over again. We already got a good piece of advice from this gathering, which is figure out a way to get a good signal in here so people can send out text, tweets, and emails. So we hear you loud and clear. We'll work on that. We'll figure that one out. But since we can't rely on the media to tell our story, and since you all are so influential in your communities, in your sectors, in your networks, please let people know about what we're doing here today. Please don't keep the information that we're giving you to yourself. The last thing I wanted to tell you is this. I've had the pleasure and really the privilege of working for knowing President Obama and the First Lady for almost 20 years now. It has been an amazing ride. It's been an amazing journey. But because I've known him for such a long time, there's something that I always keep in mind and something that they often remind me of, and that's this. Their work in public service was never about power. Their work and the goal was really never about coming here to the White House. It's always been about change in the community. And, President Obama said this a few times. We know that change comes from the bottom up. And so even though I do a whole bunch of meetings around here every single day, sometimes with governors, sometimes with CEOs, I don't always rush and tell them about it. But I'm going to go back, and I'm looking forward to telling them about the fact that I had a chance to talk to you. He's going to think that's important. He's going to think that that's valuable. He really values and respects and honors what you do. I want to thank you in very, very difficult times for sticking with us. I want to thank you for continuing to believe, and I want to thank you for continuing to fight for change. With that, I think we want to get into a little bit more of the meat of the program. We have a lot of great information to pass on to you. We have a lot of, I think, very, really exciting, interesting people who are in the middle of a broad set of that want to share some things with you and have a dialogue. And we'll start with Carl Shapiro. Carl Shapiro is a member of the President's Council of Economic Advisors, one of the people that works with the President on a daily basis to deal with extremely complicated economy. Carl, why don't you come up here and share with the folks? Thanks, everybody. I'll be back later today.
Okay.
Now you've had the inspiration, you got to deal with economics. It's really a great pleasure to welcome you here. It is so important to have you guys out there getting the message out. We know the times are tough for so many people, and yet we really are confident we're pursuing the right policies to get the economy going again. And it's not easy. It's not going to happen overnight. Let me give you some of the background behind that, and then open it up to some questions. I don't think you can to understand where we're at now in terms of the economy, we really have to go back. We go back a long time in terms of problems and mistakes, but certainly to the crisis 2-3 years ago. And just, I think you have to remember, people may or may not want to hear it, but just what a hole we're still trying to dig out of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean that's the reality. That's not made up. That's not a political message. Okay, you look. I spend a lot of time. We look at the data. We look at the charts. We lost 8.5 million jobs. Okay, during the downturn, and that was come in full force when President Obama came into office.
That's right.
Okay. I don't think people forget that, but they look and they say, well, okay, why isn't it better now? Okay. Well, there are reasons for that, and we are fighting to make it better, but it's a big hole. So 8.5 million jobs, the housing situation, and that's still not good. Okay, it's just not good. That's one of the darker spots. But so many people lost wealth in their homes, and that dragged the economy down for a long time. I mean, it is a drag on the economy. It's a minus. We have to fight against that. $7 trillion of housing wealth went away. Okay. Now, a lot of stock market wealth, some people in stocks, more people in their pension, if they have pensions. A lot of that's come back, and that's great. The stock market, okay, but the housing has not. Okay, so people, that makes people nervous, and it hurts consumer confidence, and people just don't have the wealth to start a new business from home equity, for example. So that is still with us. We also, manufacturing sector, we've given a lot of emphasis trying to reinvigorate manufacturing. Jobs have been lost, 6 million jobs in manufacturing over the decade, even before the downturn. Okay, so that's an ongoing problem. And behind all that, I know this is still negative, okay, I'll get to the positive, is that we had kind of an imbalanced economy, really. I mean, so much going on Wall Street, consumers getting into debt more, some of that based on the housing crisis, people pulling money out of the house, consumers' credit debt, so much, that just was not sustainable, okay? Housing construction, was booming, and in a lot of parts of the country, we don't need to build a lot more houses. And that's just the reality. We have, they're sitting there, all too many vacant. We have 3-4 million vacant homes still. Okay, so we can't count on that type of construction to pull us back. Usually that pulls us back out of recession. But now that is not going to do it. We have to look to other things. Okay, so and the whole financial system kind of in difficulty. And of course, it wasn't just the U.S. So we're affected by the other countries. So that's the whole. Now we've come a long way. Okay, we have gained 2 million plus jobs since in the last 15, 18 months or so. Okay, and the economy is definitely growing. Okay, so in terms of messaging, we're not in a recession anymore. The economy's growing. It's growing. It's been growing for almost 2 years, pretty steadily. Okay, not as fast as we want. The faster it grows, the more people get the jobs back. Okay, recession is when the economy is shrinking. That stopped a while ago, okay, almost 2 years now. But the growth is slow and unemployment is still high. Okay, and that's the urgent, the critical thing is to get people jobs and unemployment. Now the Republicans are telling us, no, the critical thing is the debt. The critical thing is the deficit. And that is really important. But right now, what's more important is getting the economy going. And those two, there's tension. Okay? If we pull back on the government and cut back on government spending, if we and local governments, if the federal government pulls in like that, that is like pulling in the reins on the economy. Okay? That will slow things down. That will make things worse. Okay? And that's what some of the high-level negotiations that are going on now about the federal budget are about. And we are going to keep fighting to not do that to the economy. Okay? And we did a good bit. Besides the Recovery Act, we did a good bit just last December. The payroll tax cut, people are getting that in their paychecks every week, and you should remind people of that. They don't see it necessarily. You get your paycheck, and there's 2% less taken out payroll tax. And for somebody who's earning $50,000 a year, that's $1,000. That's $1,000 in a paycheck through the year. They've also done a bunch of things for small business, a lot of things for small business actually. Accelerated depreciation, improved loans, okay, and that's going to continue. So we are making progress. Last month was a bad month in terms of the jobs. And the jobs, we were happy here with jobs. New jobs were like 250,000 a month, which will get the unemployment rate down overnight. It's 9.1% now. We'll get it down. And unemployment has gone down like 0.7 of a point in the last 4 months or so. And that 4 to 6 months. That's actually a lot. That's fast. I mean, it may not feel that way to people, but that's good. Not the last month. So that was the last month or two. It's ticked up a point or two. So we're in a fragile situation still. Or maybe I shouldn't use the word fragile, but we need to continue to have government policies to help the economy. We'd love to be in a situation where the economy, the private sector could just stand up and take it from there. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, but we know from many decades of economic experience there are times like now when it's not quite ready for that. And every time it seems like the momentum's going, we get hit by things that are out of the oil prices, gas prices. Okay, well, that pulled back a little bit, so people should be aware of that. But that's kind of mostly out of our control. Okay? And that was a minus. The European, it's farther from people's homes, but the European debt in Greece, you see this in the papers, maybe, that actually does have reverberations and can hurt us, but not as much as the gas prices, certainly. So there are these things still coming at us, and the housing, like I said, is an ongoing problem. But we are making steady progress on a quarterly basis, maybe not every month. So one thing, part of what we say here